Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Carrie Allen, founder of the Human Array, and we're back with another Great Connect podcast episode where we're digging into all the different components of well-being. So let's see. So far, we have talked about physical well-being and mental well-being. Today, we're going to dig into emotional well-being. Certainly, you could lump mental and emotional well-being together, but I honestly really believe there's so much to talk about in both components that I'm breaking them apart for us. So let's dig into the emotional well-being. So the first place I have to start when I think about emotional well-being is I have this very, very visceral and vivid memory of sitting on my stairs right over there with my 3-year-old son. He was having a huge meltdown, a huge emotional experience. And for those that have kids or have interacted with kids, you know that these things come in like huge waves for kids, right? And they can be very scary. Honestly, as an adult, working on that for myself too and learning it. I remember sitting with him, not really knowing what to do, and just knowing that he needed to feel loved. I remember sitting on the stairs with him and saying to him, you know what, buddy? I don't know how to do these emotions either. I don't know how to handle them. I don't even know what to tell you about them, but we're going to figure it out together. And that was a moment for me that was super transformative because I didn't know emotions. I didn't know how to handle them. I didn't know what to do when I felt big emotions. It just wasn't something that I was taught. And I think that that's pretty common for our generation, elder millennial here. Uh, and I think that this is something that our generation in particular has been bringing forth that, wait a minute, I didn't learn anything about this. And now I need to learn it. I need to reparent myself so I can understand these emotions because it didn't feel good the way I experienced it. So I want to change it for my kids or for the next generation. And when I think about my own emotional well-being, it has been quite the roller coaster. My kids, my son in particular, huge catalyst for me to really tune into myself and say, hey, you think you've known emotions, but really what you've known is happiness and joy. And so much of my life has been about glossing over the bad emotions to find the joy or the silver lining. I'm a huge optimist, almost driving, including my significant other, my husband, absolutely bonkers because I can find the silver lining in anything, like anything. And that's amazing. I actually love that and would love for more people to cultivate that skill because I think that's the truth of the matter is that there is always that in every lesson there is an opportunity. And I know that people like want to shoot me when I say that because can't I just feel it? And that's actually what I've been tuning into is am I or have I been skipping over the emotion and getting to the silver lining and therefore repressing or suppressing the emotion that came before it? For me, absolutely. I didn't know what to do with those, but I could see the silver lining. So I just jumped to that. Okay, I don't know what that is. I don't know how to deal with that. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to help me process whatever big emotion is coming up, but I can see the positive side of it. So I'm going to jump into that and lean into it. And that worked for me for a really long time until I was in a committed relationship until I had children who were expressing these big emotions, and I had no idea how to guide them through those emotions and allow them to happen. And I started to identify for myself that I was perpetuating the cycle that has been happening in society and certainly in my or my ancestral lineage of like, well, don't do that. Just be happy. Well, don't do that. Don't say that. No, that's not okay. You can't act that way. You can't be that way. I was like, something in me says like that's not real for me. And how can I change that for my kids because I don't know how to do any of this. My husband has been a huge piece of me shifting this in my life because he speaks emotions. I have a big emotion come up and it's like my whole body shuts down, which is just like what my kids experience, right? Because it is big, it crashes over and it shuts down my whole system where I can't even say anything about what I'm experiencing. Like my brain stops functioning, logic goes out the window. It's truly a crash and a wave over me. And that's now how I speak about it with both of my kids. My daughter in particular really resonates with that, which is that it's just a big crash. And sometimes we just have to allow the crash to happen. Don't try to speak during it. Don't try to reason. Don't try to be logical. Just let it crash. Let it move. For me, for her, for even my son, giving that space for it to crash, allow it to happen, has been wildly supportive. I have a memory as I have been cultivating and working on this emotional well-being for myself of me and my husband having an exchange. And I don't even remember what it was about, but something was coming up in me and I could feel the anger starting to burn my insides. Like this is not okay for me. This is not okay. I really need to to say something about this and I have no idea because my whole life it's been when you're angry, go cool off and then figure out what to say, which is allowing that space for that emotion to move through you, but it was never allowed to be seen. And he was like, "Just tell me, what are you feeling?" Like, "I don't know. I can't find words because I'm so angry. I I don't know." And I remember walking back and forth a couple of different times, like, it's I just didn't like da da da. Da." And he's like, I didn't say that, or I didn't mean that. And then "Duh, what is it?" And I was digging deeper and deeper and deeper, trying to figure out where did this even come from? Why am I feeling this intensely? What is this emotion I'm feeling? Is it anger? Is it sadness? Is it frustration? Is it disappointment? How do I start to even identify and name what I'm feeling? And when it's crashing, I had a really hard time doing that. And so for me, it's taken a lot of practice, and he's been so supportive in that journey because he just holds the space for me. And he's been pushing me truly to like figure it out. Like, just tell me. I'm not going to run away. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to abandon you. I want to hear it. Hold that space. Like, do it. Say what it is so that we can figure it out and both move through it. And that's been really hard for me because I wasn't really taught how to express any of those emotions besides the happiness and joy. And so, how do I now go back and start to dig in there and understand what it is? So, for myself, allowing that space for that wave to crash, for that illogical moment. And now that I've been practicing that more and more, I can actually find words sooner, faster, because it isn't so intense when it happens, because I'm not shoving it down, right? Because I've been shoving all these emotions down on top of each other. When something pinpricks, it's like this big volcano of eruption. And so, moving through those emotions and that volcanic eruption that happens has been challenging, has been important, has truly transformed my life in my way for me to be able to actually have emotional well-being. For me, if you don't follow astrology, this won't mean as much to you, but for me, it really resonates deeply that my moon is in Cancer. The moon is already a very emotional sign. It moves through a lot over the course of a month. And then for mine to be in Cancer, Cancer is also a very nurturing and emotional sign. Water. And so I've started to recognize that my emotional well-being and actually not having any emotional well-being was holding me back from so many different deeper connections, deeper experience of life, truly, because I was stuck in only being happy and not allowing any of the other emotions to be able to communicate with me and for me to then be able to communicate with others. So as I've been working on how do I understand the emotion, name it, feel it, allow it to move through me, my body has really been processing and purging a ton of these different emotions that are buried within it. And there are moments where it feels like I go back really far in my life to be able to access that emotion that's stuck in me. And that drives me forward. The more I can process what's stuck, the more I can also clear so that future emotions don't get stuck in my body. This again comes back to that dis-ease and not keeping those things in my body, allowing them to flow through so that I stay in a more easeful state. And there are times where it feels like I'm never going to be able to get there. And then there are other times where, okay, this is definitely more easeful. This is more flow, more, I mean, ease is really the best way to say it, right? That like what's coming in washes over me, washes through me. I experience things, I allow them, I understand them, and then we move forward. And to bring it back to the kids naturally do this. And I'm so proud of them. And I learned so much from watching them experience an emotion. And if I can just simply hold the space for them, they know exactly what to do. And so for me, it's okay, I just have to relearn this. This is not something I was ever taught. Certainly, it's not something that happened in school when I was a kid. And it's really an core important part of learning how to be a human is that this experience, this energy in motion, emotion moves through us. We ourselves are primarily water. You can see the skeptics say it is almost 70%, and then you see those that understand even more about our fascia say we're nearly 100% water. And what does water do? Water moves, water carries vibrations. It's the waves crash, right? So if we think of ourselves as experiencing that wave in that way that it can wash through every single cell of our body and move through, it moves. And eventually the ocean begins to calm again and the waves keep coming consistently. They never stop coming. Sometimes they're big, sometimes they're small and calm. And it's really about our ability to allow them to keep moving. Because if you go out there and you stand at the edge of the ocean and you say, waves, no, no coming here, I bet you're going to get knocked over. I have. And that's okay. Because every time we get knocked over, we stand up a little bit stronger. We understand a little bit more. Next time, you maybe turn to the side, right? And you move with the water when it happens. And eventually you're surfing and you're riding the waves. And so it's a progress towards understanding the emotions, accepting and allowing them, learning how to communicate within them. And all of this is our emotional well-being. We don't necessarily stop to think about this. How am I spending time improving or cultivating my emotional well-being? Because that impacts the ripples move out into the rest of our well-being. And truly, we can't have holistically overall positive well-being if we aren't allowing ourselves to move through and understand the emotional well-being that is a key component to our overall well-being. So I hope that this was helpful to start to think about emotional well-being. What does that actually mean? How do we process things? How do we improve, right? Because at the end of the day, okay, great. Emotional well-being. I understand I should have good emotions. And now what? Start tapping in and tuning in. What do you feel? How do you process it? Can you access where it's coming from? How do you start to articulate that? What does that evoke for you? What does that then mean? Maybe you need to set a boundary. Maybe that didn't feel good to you. How do you start to communicate what's coming through in that emotion? And give yourself some grace. Our kids come into this world, their bodies naturally know how to do it. And we, as the parents, are trying to help them learn that because it can be very scary. And for you, it's still scary. Because if you haven't spent any time learning your emotions and understanding them and how to be with them, they can knock you over too. So give yourself some grace. Just start tuning in. I'm going to be like a record on repeat, but it's tuning in. Start to pay attention to yourself, your body, your emotions, your expression of those, and ask questions. Wow, that was so much heat just built up in my body. What did that person say that caused this emotional response in me? And what am I trying to learn from that? What is that emotion trying to show me that is real for me? And how can I start to pull through that and understand it so that I can, one, understand that specific situation, and then also understand maybe there are other things that I can do. I can communicate, I can set other boundaries in other ways that help me not have to experience that huge eruption time and time and time again. Okay, so that's emotional well-being. We are going to come back for yet another subset of overall well-being and talk about social well-being and spiritual well-being. Those are the two others that I want to dig into with you initially here. So I hope you found this helpful. And again, this is what we're here to do in the human array. Those emotions are real. And I want to create a safe space for you to experience them and to talk through them, to help yourself move through this ability of feeling it, identifying it, being able to express it, articulate what's coming up for you, and perhaps dig a little bit deeper to understand it and maybe not make it so intense the next time around because you understand what's potentially triggering that emotion and where you need to set a boundary or where you need to speak up for yourself or whatever that happens to be for you. That's what the human array is all about. And I know that there have been a lot of social media channels in which when we speak what we're feeling, what emotion is moving through us, we get suppressed. At the where do I work? At the human array. uh, we lean in. Wow, that looks like it was a big something for you. What was happening there? Can we help you? Can we support you? We've got a whole bunch of coaches, practitioners, energy workers, all the different people to help you move through each of these and start to understand it and yourself and where it's coming from and how we might be able to better support ourselves to have a more consistent, easeful emotional well-being and therefore overall well-being. We hope to see you there. If you have any questions, I'd love to hear. Were you not able to experience joy? Was it sadness, anger? Everybody has a little something that maybe they're still learning about emotions. So I'd love to hear what this landed for you and how we might be able to support you going forward. See you next time when we dig into social well-being. See you then.